Okay, hello everybody and welcome to this free spa retreat, the first one that we've done on YouTube. So up until now we've been doing them in Zoom, and that's been delightful because we've been able to chat on and share things together. This one, I wanted to do a mass spa. So the UK government said that schools should have an extra inset day today, December the 18th, with hardly any notice and loads of other things that they needed to be doing. So I thought I would offer those schools that wanted a little inset. Okay, hello everybody and welcome to this free spa retreat, the first one that we've done on YouTube. So up until now we've been doing them in Zoom, and that's been delightful because we've been able to chat on and share things. There, let's just switch that off. You don't need me twice, do you? Once is quite enough. Sorry about that. So so I wanted to be able to do a mass spa for anybody from any school who needed a little hour and a half inset, CPD, continuing professional development, to help them finish the term with a little bit of chill out. And it's open to anybody because anybody can just meet me in YouTube and enjoy this experience. Now, you will get the most out of it if you're ready with a few things. So a bowl or a bucket with warm soapy water that you can put your feet in. We will be having a little break of about 5 minutes a little later on to allow you to do that, or to top up. If you've already got your feet in the warm water, that's fabulous, and we'll have a few moments where you can top it up. I've got mine ready, but I'm going to warm it up before I put my feet in a little while. So I'm Pam Burrows People Booster. What I usually do is work with organisations who want to reduce stress and raise confidence and generally look after the well-being of their people. And during the pandemic, I have felt the urge to do more of that and to do that for free for people who are very frazzled and very stressed, but still working hard. Well, you and me have something in common, and that is that we do work hard, we get passionate about what we're doing, we care about the people we're providing a service for, but we don't always know how to switch off, and we don't give ourselves credit for the amount of stuff that we've already done and then realise that it's time to recharge. So that's what this is all about. People that have already experienced this have said that they've had the best sleep in a very long time. In fact, one person said the best sleep ever, which was pretty marvellous. But certainly everybody's experiencing a weight being lifted and being able to then enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your week, and perhaps the rest of your holiday before you start up work again. Because even if actually you're not even taking a break, you're going to be meeting each day with less weight on your shoulders and a little bit of hopefully a spring in your step. So we're going to do a variety of things. So we're going to start off with a very small practical exercise to help you to unwind. Then I'm going to talk to you about stress, the science and the psychology of it, and then we're going to get right into all the good pampering stuff. So to start with, I'd like to ask you a question. So if you are able to put a comment into the YouTube stream there, or even if you're watching on catch up, you can put it in the comments at the bottom, just to let me know, as we begin this process together, where would you rate your stress levels? So out of 10 being there is steam coming out of my ears, in fact you might even be an 11, 0 being I'm really chilled out, so I really feel quite okay at the moment, then there might be something, you might be somewhere in the midst of that. And maybe a word as well to describe how you're feeling. So you might say 9 out of 10 frazzled. Oh, we've got
7 or 8 for Anne-Marie.
7 or 8 for Anne-Marie, so pretty much up there. I am glad you are here right now enjoying this. Just to tell you, actually, the voice from above is my partner Annie, who's watching on YouTube for me, so she can collect up the things that you're saying, because as you heard, I can't have YouTube on at the same time as doing the recording, so she's going to be feeding me the news that you're popping in the box there. So do feel free to say hi, tell me how you're feeling, tell me what your stress levels are, ask questions, whatever you want to do. Now,
Before we actually begin proper, I do need to remind you, or tell you in case you didn't already know, that at the end of the session we're going to have a little competition, and the winner of the competition, you'll need to be writing in the comments box in order to enter the competition. The winner of the competition gets to have one of these spa retreats for their work team. And I'll tell you what you need to do towards the end, but whoever wins it gets to choose the date that I can do that suits your team, and we will be on Zoom together, so it will be interactive rather than the one way that we have on YouTube. It'll be interactive in a Zoom room on the date of your choosing, where all of your team gets to chill out together and experience proper practical stress reduction. So do hang on till the end, and we'll make some magic happen in the meantime. Okay, so I've asked you how you are. Let's begin with the first practical exercise. We're going to do something very simple, but as you'll see as we go through this process, it's often the simple things that we underestimate the power of. Because if you think about your stress levels, it's rare that you have one enormous stress on one particular day. What usually happens is it's little by little, maybe a bigger stress, maybe a medium-sized stress, and then little by little, and it builds up over time. And so we need to apply the same rule really to how we unwind, little by little by little, and then every now and again a big unwind or a medium unwind, and then little by little by little. So let me show you one of the small unwinding techniques that you can do. So I'd like you to get comfortable wherever you are, and if it's possible to put your feet flat on the floor, then do, because often when we get stressed we're all up in our head and it all gets a little bit crazy up here, and what we want to do is we want to really ground ourselves. So we put the feet flat on the floor. If you're lying down, or you for whatever reason your feet aren't on the floor, that's fine. Just notice whichever part of your body is supported by the chair, the floor, the bed, wherever you are, and just feel that groundedness. And then we're going to raise the shoulders up as we breathe in, and roll them back and down as we breathe out. It's that simple. We're going to add a couple of things in. Breathing in, breathing out. And then I want you to notice as you're doing it, continue to do that. I want you to start to notice where your tongue is. See if you can rest the tongue in the bottom jaw. See if your jaw is tight, whether you've got your teeth clenched, and just ease that out a little bit. And move your eyebrows up and down a bit, just to check that you haven't got a tense frown going on. So we're breathing in and breathing out. And each breath out, you're just letting go. And one of the things I like to do with this, imagine all the things that have been bugging you. Imagine you're just shrugging them off like an old coat. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and out through the nose extends the breath, so it makes us more relaxed. And see if you can make sure the out breath is longer than it usually is. If your nose is a bit stuffed up, you can use the mouth, that's fine too. And we're going to do that 3 more times. And then just bring yourself to stillness, hands in your lap, and just notice how you feel. Now, one of the things you might notice is that you feel a little bit dizzy, and what that would suggest is that you haven't been breathing very long. You've been breathing quite short and shallow, and now you've got much more oxygen going on. It makes you a little bit dizzy. It's okay, just allow the breathing to return to normal, and make a mental note that you need to do some more longer breaths on a more regular basis to make sure you're getting enough oxygen in. And of course that feeds the brain so we can think more clearly. One of the things that happens when we get stressed is we're breathing quite short and shallow, and then we can't think straight, and then we make mistakes, or we feel perhaps underconfident, and the whole thing becomes a bit of a vicious circle. So a few longer breaths is as simple as it is to change the way that you feel. I'm going to talk about the science of stress in just a moment, so we'll talk a bit more about that. But basically, longer breaths are the fastest way to change the way that you feel. And of course, our shoulders tend to be worn as earrings when we're stressed. They get tighter and tighter and tighter. So we're going to deal with that a little bit later on too. Okay, so I'm now going to talk to you about the psychology of where we're at in the pandemic with lockdowns, or as my mum calls them, lockups. And we're going to have a look at something which was developed by the British Psychological Society, and it's been taken on by the National Health Service in the UK to describe what we're experiencing in the pandemic. Now, I've got a full video on this on my YouTube channel, so do have a look for that if you want to know a bit more about this, and do look it up on the internet in general if you want the detail that the NHS are putting on this, which is about looking at staff and the impact on staff of this situation. But I'm going to do a little whistle-stop tour through this. This is my my online slide arrangement. It's much less fast than actually putting the PowerPoint on. So we're just going to go around this. So we start here with preparation. Now, in a global pandemic, the like of which we've never seen before, what preparation do you do? Well, actually, it's really hard to know what to do. So mostly we panicked and we bought toilet roll and pasta and tinned tomatoes and started baking bread. Yes, let's bake bread for Britain. And so here, what we'd normally do is start doing all the right things. Let's imagine, do you remember in the days when we used to be able to go on holiday? Imagine preparing for a holiday. You'd kind of know what to do. You'd kind of know what to put in your suitcase. You'd know what you were taking, whether it was a hot holiday or a cool holiday, and you would know what preparation to do. But in this situation, we didn't. So there's a lot of anxiety that began right at the very beginning. And then the second phase is this one. And I don't know if you're a bit of a fixer. I suspect because you're watching this, you are, because I am a self-confessed fixer also. And what happens when you're a fixer is if there is any kind of crisis, you go, what do I need to do? And you run into action like my Wonder Bear here. I'm coming to the rescue! And you've got your shiny pants on the outside, so everybody knows that you're a superhero. Everybody knows that you're a fixer, that you're trying to help. And it all gets a little bit busy. Now, the other thing that happens here, which can be really good, is that we enter into some collaboration. And that's what happened with the pharmaceutical industry, which is unheard of because it's a very dog eat dog, all about the money, all about the competition in the pharmaceutical industry. But there were a lot of people who were in this phase starting to collaborate, and that meant we got to a vaccine quicker, and people were pulling together. So food banks and deliveries, people helping neighbours, people setting up free support systems, all kinds of things that were happening here because a lot of people were diving in and going, what shall I do? And then the next phase is, and I've done it in red here on purpose, it's where we have to start pushing, because here we've dived in and we've set things up and we've kind of made a promise and we've started a ball rolling. But here we start to get tired, disillusioned, feeling undervalued. And if you've been called a hero during this pandemic, this is the point where we start to think, well, either I don't warrant that and I feel uncomfortable with that label, or you think to yourself, well, if I'm such a hero, why isn't somebody supporting me or paying me enough or helping me to recover or whatever it is? So there's a lot of stuff going on here, and basically we're having to really push to keep going. There's a lot of illness begins and certainly a lot of tiredness. And then finally, ideally, we enter into recovery. And in this phase, people may be experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD. They may have started to realise how to make this thing work, how to stay sane, how to lose the lockdown lumps, how to basically get things somewhere towards a regular routine. So in this recovery stage, there is a lot that can happen, but often there's been so much hard work in the fixing and so much pushing in the pushing that we get to here and it's really hard to know what to do with ourselves. And of course, it's not that simple. We end up going around again. You might even find you go round this circle within the space of a day, that it just doesn't feel like you ever get to the point where you can step off that roundabout. Now, that's really important to recognize where you're at and how it's affecting you. Those stages of, your superhero tendencies, you're kind of, right, I'm going to do something here. Maybe you were doing shopping for neighbors, friends or family. Maybe you were looking after somebody at home. I certainly know lots of wonderful people who were caring for people within their own home, and all their support just disappeared because people weren't allowed in the house. So kind of just carrying on, people homeschooling children, and they're homeschooling children whilst trying to do a full-time job online in the dining room, and all of that stuff. I'm telling you what you already know. Plus people still going out to work. And one of the reasons I wanted to predominantly do this session for schools was because schools haven't really closed. Even when they were working online, a lot of people, you've been going into school, you've been dealing with the children, putting yourselves at risk every single day, no matter what your role is. You're there with a lot of people, even with the bubbles situation and hygiene, all of that. You've been right there in the midst of things. Now, I do want to just as a little aside say that there are so many people who've been working through. There have been people who've been working at home. And there have been people who have really not been doing any of those things, but still stressed. So let's have a look at how that comes about. I'm going to introduce you here to Burnout Bob. And Burnout Bob is just going to demonstrate what's happening when we start to get stressed. Because one of the things about a stressful situation is that the oldest part of our brain, sometimes called the reptilian brain because it's so old, is all about survival. It thinks everything is a life and death situation. And the particular part that gets triggered when a crisis hits is the amygdala. And the amygdala is very, very clear. It's either a life and death situation or it isn't. It doesn't use any of the prefrontal cortex, the newer part of the brain, to work out, actually, is this life and death or is it just a kind of stress? It just flips straight into what we call the fight or flight response. So let's imagine you're just about to cross the road and you hear a loud rumbling noise. The amygdala is going to send you straight back on the pavement to safety. It's not going to use the prefrontal cortex to say, I wonder if that's a truck. I wonder if I'm in any danger, or perhaps it's thunder. Maybe I'll get back on the pavement. Maybe I won't. There's no let's have a ponder about it. It's boom, you're back on the pavement. So that stress response that is about fight or flight, so to fight off the enemy or the threat, or to flight as in run away. Very useful if there's a bear chasing you. So what happens if that's happening? Well, we have an effect to the eyes. The pupils become dilated because we're looking out for danger. The heart starts pumping like mad with adrenaline. Remember, adrenaline is the sort of thing that gets directly put into people's hearts to get their heart going when they have a heart attack. So adrenaline is boom, 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 getting the heart going. There's a big change in our muscle tension. So this is a power arm, a muscle man arm that gets attached to the neck and the shoulders. So these muscle arms are there tightening up all of these muscles here, ready for fight or flight. Would make sense if there was a bear chasing you. There is something that happens with the mouth, which is that the jaw clamps and the teeth clench. Sometimes when people have long-term stress that isn't getting reduced, they will grind their teeth in the night and have to wear a guard for the teeth. If that's you, let's look at reducing that stress, and you can have a more comfortable night when you don't need that. We need to loosen the jaw. We're going to do that in just a little while. And I've already mentioned this, which is the breathing becomes, these are lungs by the way, the breathing becomes short and shallow because we're ready for action. We're in the way that you might be in anticipation of that. And what's going on in the brain? Well, flipping fireworks going on here. The brain is completely mashed up. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Really hard to think straight when we're in a panic that feels like a life or death situation. So let's look at the chemicals then. The first chemical that I mentioned there is adrenaline. And adrenaline is about getting everything going, boosting everything, There are fats that are dumped into the bloodstream to use for that energy we're going to need. The muscles are all pumped. We're ready. And what's the other chemical? The other chemical that goes on, the other stress hormone, is cortisol. And cortisol's slightly different. Adrenaline's getting everything going, and cortisol is switching off the things we don't need because we need to fight or fly. We need to address the danger that we're in. So the cortisol goes, right, is it important for me to digest the cheese sandwich we had at lunchtime, or did you have soup today? To digest that if we need all the energy to run or to fight the bear? Well, it tends to slow down the digestive system because actually in that moment of survival, it's not essential. So it slows down the digestive system, the reproductive system, and the immune system right when we need it most. So all of that's going on. Your digestive system right here is being affected, which is why a lot of the time when we are feeling stressed, especially when it's a kind of on off, we're kind of on medium alert the whole time, it can cause irritable bowel syndrome and other problems with the stomach. And of course, the biggest organ of the body is the skin. So you may have been noticing skin problems during this pandemic or whatever other challenges that you've had going on. If you're also having to wear a mask, then your skin's definitely going to be breaking out. If you're having to wear a mask all day, every day, that's going to affect your skin, because all of this stops the body doing what it needs to do for maintenance. So when you fully relax and when you get a really good, long, deep night's sleep, then the body does its maintenance. It produces more protein so that it can build up all the things that are under the pressure, broken, starting to become infected or diseased. It can start to fix all of that stuff. So if you've been kind of, maybe not full burnout Bob, I hope not, but even if you haven't had that absolute peak of stress, even just to be on medium alert, on and off, on a long-term basis like this, 9 or 10 months, then you're going to start to notice that that's impacting on your body, because the body is so on alert. Why would you be able to go to sleep if a bear was chasing you? It makes no sense. So the body's like, right, I'm on high alert, I'm looking out for the bear, I need to save my own life here. So it makes no sense to get a good night's sleep if you're in danger. So what do we need to do? We need to calm down the adrenaline and the cortisol so that we can operate, we can think straight, we can mean that the body is doing all the maintenance it needs to do. So even if you knew all about fight or flight, even if you knew all of that stuff already, it's really about remembering that every day and noticing, is your heart racing? Are you breathing short and shallow? Are you rushing from one thing to the other without taking a pause in between? Because if that's the case, it's likely that your adrenaline levels are, just kind of on medium alert the whole time. It's very wearing, it's very tiring, and it stops you from operating at your best level. Okay, so that's the fight or flight response. It obviously plays well into that psychological response, because when we're into fix-it mode, we are on adrenaline. Adrenaline is also a painkiller, so we don't notice when we're all pumped up. We don't notice what hurts or what needs fixing. We just carry on, which is why at the end of term, when you break up for your holiday or when you finally stop for whatever reason, you usually catch a cold or you feel much worse than you did. And I liken it, this is a little bit of a strange analogy, but I liken it to, if you've ever been shopping, when you used to shop all day around town. I know, it seems like way back of beyond. And you're carrying lots and lots and lots of bags, and the carrier bags are kind of cutting into your fingers, and you're just so ready to get home, and you put the bags down, and it's then that it really hurts. You kind of have those red welts across your fingers where you've been holding the bags, and it actually hurts more when you put the bags down, because you start to realize where the pain has been. I suspect that might be happening for you right now, that you've just been carrying on, and it may well be that when you stop, hopefully you are going to stop at some point over the Christmas break to get some recuperation time, that you might actually notice that you feel worse before you start to feel better. That's why I'm doing this, and that's why you need to listen all the way to the end to know how you can properly switch all that off, to kind of get the blood back into your fingers, as it were. Okay, right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start the pampering. Yay, fantastic. Shut up, Pam, let's get on with the pampering. Pampering, do you get it? These are the jokes, folks. It's as good as it gets, I'm afraid. Okay, so we're going to get our I know. We're going to get our feet into the water. So I'm going to top up with some hot. I'm going to get my feet into the water. I hope you're going to join me. If you need to boil a kettle, fill up a bowl, put some bubble bath in, make it lovely. Remember to bring a towel with you. If you've got some foot lotion or just moisturizer, that's great too. Get yourself a cushion, a blanket, light a candle, get all gorgeous. But if you do want to, if that's not available to you right now, that's fine too. You can still join in without having your feet in a bucket. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes, and we're going to rejoin. On my clock, that will be 2:32. Will that be 2:32? Yeah, 2:32. So about 5 minutes. Have a wee, get a drink, do what you need to do, and we'll be back at 2:32 to get our feet in the water. Okay, see you soon. Now, I imagine some folks have gone off to get their feet in a bucket, and some people are just sitting there. So I'm just going to chat to you while I'm doing this. Karen Bonza's in the room. That is Bonza news. Hey Karen, I'm so pleased you're here, and well done for taking the time. In fact, well done to everybody. If you're live or you're on catch up, thank you for making this time for yourself, because whilst I'm doing this to thank you, you need to thank yourself as well by giving yourself that time. So that's just marvellous. Okay. Could you do me a huge favour, Annie, and pass that kettle out? I'm having a new hot amount of kettle right in there. Thank you. I do feel a bit spoiled actually, because I've got my own water topper upper a person, so I am lucky. How's that feeling? Is that all right? A little bit more? Okay, right, I'll just bring it over here. I don't normally waffle on in the break time, but I am aware that there may be people who are just hanging out with me right now. I don't want you to have nothing to listen to. Oh yes, that's smashing. I hadn't realised how cold my feet were. It's quite chilly here today, bit dank. Yesterday we had some blue sky. It's a little bit dank today, so that's nice and warm on my feet. I'm just going to mute for a moment while we boil the kettle.
she's welcome.
I'm going to do it live. Andrea, thank you very much for saying hello. You are very welcome for this session. Honestly, I'm chuffed to bits, and I'm thinking I'm going to do it on a regular basis. We'll maybe make it a monthly thing here on YouTube to just say thank you and make sure that people are taking time. In fact, whether you're watching live or on catch up, if you could put in the comments what day and time would be perfect if we did do this monthly, then that'll give me a bit of a clue to make sure you get so that I put something on that you're actually going to be accessing, and rather than putting it on and then you not being able to attend. Sorry, I'm just checking my phone in case it's somebody that needs something right now. Okay, it wasn't relevant to this particular thing, so we'll ignore that because we're in the moment, aren't we? Right, what time did I say? 2:30? 2:32, which is now.
Says she sat at home with COVID.
Oh, Andrea's home with COVID. Oh, and Karen's also told us, reminded us about schools having just had it dropped on them that they're going to have to do their own testing in the new year. There's so much going on. I'm sending my heart out to you. Flipping heck is what I can say about that. And hello to KP, who's also said hello in the chat box there. Do say hello and drop some thoughts in. To Lisa Martin, Catherine G. Hello. I love that you're here live and that I know that you're there and I can say hello because it's just brilliant. I know there are a lot of people who actually are still working today and schools open and all kinds of stuff going on. So hello to you if you're catching up, and I hope that your Friday was a nice day and you got to do lovely things with the kids. Okay, right, let's crack on then, folks, because I've got loads of gorgeous things I want to do with you. And the first one of those is a little bit weird, but it is one of my very favourite things. It's something that we do regularly in the Feel Good Club. So if you want to find me on Patreon, patreon.com/Pam Burrows, you can join the Feel Good Club. We do this every week, and it just makes such a difference to how we feel. And it's very simple. And you're going to feel a little bit daft maybe, but honestly it's worth it for the difference it makes. So I want you to imagine you're a toddler who's just learnt to wave. You're moving your arms up and down and it makes your hands flap. So you're not moving your hand, you're moving your arms so that your hands flap. There's no energy coming out the hands at all. There is something magical in the nerve endings in your wrist that just get everything moving and everything going while you're doing this. Okay, so we do that for a few moments and then we're going to shake the hands as if you're shaking the water off. You've sung happy birthday twice and now you're flicking the water off. Not that you would do that because that wouldn't be COVID safe, but you get the gist. Now imagine that you're a Labrador that's just come out the water, your shoulders are going, you're shaking everything. If you haven't got your feet in the bucket, you can shake your legs, or you can do that at another point in time. Keep the shoulders going, and now we're going to do it above the head because there is something that really raises the energy when you shake your hands above your head. Keep breathing. Breathe, shake. If you need to stop for a moment, do, but then start it again. And then we'll stop and just place your hands in your lap and breathe. And just notice how you feel. What do I notice? My shoulders are feeling a little bit looser. My hands are fizzing. And I feel like my spirits are lifted a bit because kind of makes you laugh when you go shaky. Now, there's something very magical about that just resets the nervous system. And what we do in the Feel Good Club is we do a whole body one, and we sometimes put a song on. You could choose Florence and the Machine have got a song, Shake It Off. Taylor Swift's my favourite. Some really positive words in that as well. Haters gonna hate. So just shake it off, and you're just getting rid of all the other people's nonsense. OPN, I call it. OPN, other people's nonsense, is NMS, not my stuff. You can choose your own S word for that, but it's not your stuff. We just shake it off. Okay, now we're going to address the adrenaline that I mentioned earlier. The adrenal glands are just at the lower back here near the kidneys, and the kidneys like a little bit of love as well. So I want you to take the flats of your hands and you're just rubbing, let me just show you what I'm doing here, I'm just rubbing the base of the spine. You can use the palms of the hands and then the backs of the hands and keep swapping and just giving a bit of love to the base of the spine there. So the kidneys and the adrenal glands are getting a little bit of attention. And now we're going to do something called the adrenal twist. And this bit isn't scientific, but I imagine it's like getting a flannel and squeezing the adrenaline out so we get it out of the body. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the hands on the shoulders, the fingers at the front and the thumbs at the back. We're going to turn to the left and breathe in, and we're going to turn to the right and breathe out. And we're going to do it with our eyes closed so that you can go inside. It stops you getting dizzy as well, but so that you're going inside to notice how you feel. Because do you know what? You've been looking outside for 9 months, probably more. What does everybody else need? What needs to be done? We're going inside. So gently close the eyes. Now, if you've got aches and pains and difficulties, just do what you're comfortable with. Or COVID, yeah. And if you want to, you can keep the elbows down and just twist this way. If you want to, you could just do this and twist. You can do it as slow as you like or as quick as you like. So just do what feels right for you. That's really important. So the standard way of doing it looks like this. Closing the eyes and then and keep going. This is something from Kundalini yoga, a particular kind of yoga which is about stamina and about raising your energy out of the pelvis and up the rest of the body so that you feel enlivened. You're breathing in as you go left, you're breathing out as you go right. And then I want you to add something else in. As you breathe left, so you're breathing into the left, I want you to imagine you're breathing in a beautiful healing white light. And as you move to the right and breathe out, I want you to imagine you're just breathing out whatever you don't need. Other people's nonsense, criticism, drama, worries, things that have happened, things are yet to come. You don't even need to know what they are, you're just breathing them out. So let's just do that for a few more moments. Breathing in white light, breathing out whatever you don't need. And do 3 more at whatever your pace is. And whenever you finish, just come to stillness with the hands in the lap. If you feel you want to roll the shoulders a little bit, ease the neck out. Just sitting with the eyes closed for a few moments. We are starting to practice this idea of pausing. So you do something, and then you pause, and then you do something else. But I bet what you've been doing more often is you do something and you rush to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And you get to the end of the day and you're so frazzled because there's been no moment to take a breath, let your nervous system reset, let the stress hormones go down, and also to recognize what you've just achieved. You know, you're just going one thing to the next without actually going, wow, look what I've done. And this is part of my care model. We haven't got a chance to look at this today, but this is what I deliver into organisations, is the care model of wellbeing, where you look at CARE and the A. I'll just tell you this bit. The A is for acknowledgement, because when you start to acknowledge what you've achieved, you get a burst of serotonin. Guess what that does? It gets rid of the adrenaline, gives us a feel-good feeling, and it starts us realising how resilient we are, how competent we are, and it helps us to feel strong the next time we have a challenge. So that A for acknowledge is really, really important, just noticing what you've done. The other way you can use that is to have a notebook by your bed. You may have heard of gratitude journals. This takes it on to an extra level. So you write down just before you go to sleep all the things you're grateful for, but you also use the A. You put down, acknowledge all the things you achieved that day, even the little things, even the silly things, even the, right, well, I managed not to punch anybody today, even though I was very frustrated, or I wore matching socks. You know, it can be anything. And you write all those things down. What you're writing down doesn't matter. It's the fact that it's a positive, because that changes the brain chemicals. It makes you feel like you've succeeded and you had purpose. That makes you feel restful. Guess what that does? That lessens those stress chemicals, so you sleep more easily and more deeply, and you wake more refreshed. Your immune system gets a boost. So if you want to look up the work of Martin Seligman, he did some research into that, and he was able to show that doing that before sleep boosted the immune system and helped you sleep better. So that's just a little tip there. And what are we doing next? Oh yes, we are going for a ride on a camel. I hope you'll join me. So if you've ever done yoga or seen yoga happen, one of the common things that you do is you get onto all fours and you do cat-cow. So cat is an arched spine and cow is a dipped spine. We're going to do the Kundalini equivalent. We do it sitting up, and it's called camel ride because you do this as if you're riding on a camel. But what we're doing is we're breathing in and stretching the chest forward, and then we're curving the spine. And you're doing it again with your eyes closed, breathing in as you stretch forward, breathing out as you curl. So if you haven't already started, give it a go. Do it with the eyes gently closed so that your focus is coming inside. Do it at the speed that's right for you and be gentle with yourself. And you might play with curving more at the top and then curving more at the bottom of the spine. And one of the things that we say in yoga is that you're as old as your spine. So the more you flex your spine and use counterpose, so you're not just in one position all the time, you're counterposing that with the opposite, then that lubricates the spine. And of course, when it's lubricated, it works much better, keeps going for longer. Okay, whatever pace you're doing that at, do 3 more. And then again, still with the eyes closed, sit still with the hands in the lap and just notice how you feel. Notice the difference. As we go along, as we get to the end of one bit before we start the next, if you want to pop into the comments how you're feeling or what you notice, that would be delightful, because I do miss having you in a room with me, as I do when I do it for teams and the Feel Good Club. But if you'd rather just carry on and not be dealing with your device, that's fine too. Right, okay, now I'm going to take off my jewellery because we are now going to get into some massage. And we're going to be massaging the neck and shoulders and then the head. And I want you to fully enjoy that. So if you've got anything that's around the neck, then you might want to release that. And what we're going to do first up is we're going to use this kind of motion on this trapezius muscle here, the really thick one that joins the neck and the shoulder, because it's where we keep all of the responsibilities and all of the stress and the overwhelm. So what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze that muscle, take a deep breath in, hold it for a second or two, breathe out and let go of the muscle. Even that just feels good. Now, it may be that you've been carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders and this is quite sore. So go gently. We're going to keep on squeezing and taking nice, long, deep breaths. Those long breaths signal to the brain and the body that all is well and it's safe to relax. So you might want to stay with that muscle there. You might want to go from the neck down to the shoulder and then start again at the top. Just do what feels good. I quite like going over the back and getting some fingers in that shoulder blade there. Ooh, but be kind, do it with kindness, because this stress is probably built up over a long time. You don't want to be trying to get rid of it in one go. It needs to be released over lots of little moments. Okay. And then we're going to take that big muscle again, a nice long deep breath in, squeeze, hold it for a couple of seconds and let it go. And then we're going to dust the shoulder. Now there's 2 reasons for doing this, well 3 actually. The nerve endings get a little bit of a dusting. The fascia, which is just below the surface, gets a little of attention. But I like it because I imagine I'm dusting off the things I didn't need. Other people's criticism, craziness in the media, craziness in the government, or, you know, whatever's been a bit of a pressure for you, you're dusting it off. Okay, roll the shoulders, ease the neck out, and then just notice, is there a difference between one shoulder and the other? I would imagine you're quite tempted to even out and be a little symmetrical. So you know the drill. We're going to be making this movement on this big muscle. Give it a squeeze and take a deep breath in. Hold it a second or two and let it go. And then carry on with deep breaths, either just on that muscle or going from the neck to the shoulder and back up again. Be in charge of your own self. You know, this is self-care and you're the one. It's yourself that knows what you need. Just going back to that shoulder blade. Oh, that feels good. So there are loads of things you can't do when we are in certain lockdown restrictions, or which tier you're in and all of that kind of business. Certainly massage is something that is not allowed at the moment. And here we are being able to do it for ourselves. So we take a little time and give yourself a little self-care. Okay, let's grab that muscle again, a good tight squeeze and a big breath in. Hold it for a second or two. Let it go and have a little dusting. Just get rid of all the frustrations, irritations, things that don't work properly, all of that stuff. And then just ease that out and notice how it feels. Have a think about how many times a day you get frustrated waiting for something, whether it's a red traffic light or a traffic jam, waiting for the kettle to boil, waiting for the computer to stop buffering, waiting for somebody else to do something that means you can get on with what you need to do, whatever it might be. Those moments, I hope you will take this on board as a little tip, can become a message. So where it might get quite messy to be frustrated and yet another stress in your day to be waiting, I want that mess to become your message. So the next time you feel your shoulders tensing or your jaw clenching because you're frustrated at waiting, it's a perfect moment for a pause. To sit and think, yeah, I've done a lot already today. Chill out. Roll your shoulders, take a breath. That mess becomes your message. I hope you'll have a go at that. Okay, so we've done that bit. Okay, I'm going to take my glasses off now because we are going to give the face and head some love. So we're going to use this movement, which is just the finger and thumb making tiny circles. And we're going to start with, oh, I've got earrings in today. Just pop those off. I feel like I'm in Dynasty pulling my earring off to make a phone call. I don't know. Okay, so we're just doing little circles on the earlobes and then going up around the ears. Just giving the ears don't really get much love, do they? Just giving the ears some love. And then we're going to take 2 fingers to the temples. And I think this is a universal symbol for, oh God, I've had enough. So if you see somebody doing this, you'd probably guess they've got a headache or felt overwhelmed. It's because it works. It really helps to release that tension. And we're going to come down to that jaw joint and help to loosen that jaw. Now, whatever I'm telling you to do what feels good for you. So you might actually find you want to give behind your ears or in your neck a little bit of love as well. These glands here, whatever feels right for you. Just giving it some love. Okay, now we're going to go into the head. Now I just want to tell you what we're doing first. We're not doing this kind of rubbing kind of massage like you might when you were washing your hair. We're putting the fingers on and we're moving the skin whilst the fingers actually stay on the same part of the skin. Okay, so your fingers go in here and you're moving the fingers but not moving them around, if you know what I mean. And again, see what feels good. I quite like going to the back here, just to the base of the skull and getting my thumbs in there a little bit. You might find there are different parts of the head that you enjoy. And in fact, if moving the hands around for you, more like a hair washing movement feels good, then do that too. We're all about the feel good. So you're giving that some love. Does your hair do no good, of course. let's not worry about that. There's more important things. I do like it at the back there, that feels good. Okay, and then we're going to do little raindrops with the fingers from the forehead, close your eyes, down to the chin, and then start again at the forehead, down the face to the chin, back up again. And are you breathing? Have you got the jaw loose? Even though you're lifting your arms up, have you got your shoulders relaxed? We're just starting to build habits here where you start to notice where the tension is. Oh, I do like this. Ooh. Okay, and then we're just going to give it a little shake. Shake your arms above your head if you need a little more energy. And we just up and down with the shoulders, ease the neck out, adjust the hairdo. Lovely. Right, and then just notice how you feel. If you want to mention how you feel in the comments there, whether you're live or on catch up, please do. Give me old lady string for my glasses. Right, nothing wrong with being an old lady. I'm embracing it as I am the Greg. So we are onto the bottom of the body now. So we've paid some attention to the head, the neck, the shoulders, the face. We've looked at all the stuff going on with the breathing and the lower back, and now it's time for your lovely feet. So just before you get your feet out of the water, we're going to do it, A, we're going to do it 1 foot at a time, and B, we're going to do it in a very particular way. Now, just before we do that, I forgot to say this earlier, highly recommended, get yourself some Epsom salts if you haven't already got them. When I very first came across these, they were in a pink packet and cost about £8 for one bath, and it was a bit extreme. It got some lavender oil in. Then I discovered if you go to Boots, other pharmaceuticals are available, and you can get it really cheap. And then Annie found it in a 10-litre tub like this on the internet, and I've been working my way through that. I decant it into here. What I do spend the money on is the best essential oil. So this one is lavender. Sorry, it's shining there so you can't quite see it, but anyway, lavender essential oil, and it really is worth getting the best of these rather than the cheap ones that just smell funny or go off very quickly. So it's just a few drops into the water, or what I do, if I remember, is put it straight into the Epsom salts and leave it there till next time. So you kind of do that at the end of your bath, so that it's all infused, ready for the next time, and just pop it in the water. There's something really magical about Epsom salts. It's used by physios for people with muscle problems. It just genuinely release stress. It's quite a magical thing. I'm just going to have a hot water top up here. Feel free to top up if you need some just before you get your feet out. Oh, that's very lovely and smells delicious too. Right, we're going to get the feet out. We're going to get the left foot out first, and you'll realise why I'm being specific in just a moment or two. So we're going to get the left foot out first, and you're going to dry this foot as if it's the foot of somebody you utterly, totally adore, and you want them to feel totally loved. So get your foot out, get your flannel or your towel, and dry this foot as if you absolutely adore the owner of the foot. Dry each toe individually. If you've already got your foot out and dried it, get it wet again and do this properly. In between the toes, give the heels some love. I'm still in heel recovery after flip-flops in the summer. And you're just drying this foot like you really, really care. And just notice how that feels, and whether you actually do it usually, and whether you could start to do it when you get out of the shower or the bath. You could give yourself a regular foot spa while you're sat watching telly, or even while you're marking books. Have a little foot spa. Just give yourself those moments to pause and give yourself some love. Now, if you've got some foot lotion or moisturizer or something you want to put on, then put that on now, because we're going to do a little foot massage. Now, if you find it tricky to get your hands and your feet connected, if that's physically difficult for you, then you can massage your hands, and it is very, very similar, and I'll just show you what I mean in just a second. So I'm going to show you my magic trick now. Here we go. Here's my sock, which is a reflexology sock. Who knew? There you go. So in reflexology, the different parts of the foot relate to the different parts of the body. And when you massage the foot in those areas, then it helps clear the toxins and generally bring healing to that part of the body. It's really quite magical. People have actually diagnosed cancer and then got it followed up properly medically afterwards, but being able to see that there is a problem there. When I very first had it done, I had a stomach problem, and she highlighted it straight away without me saying. So what we're going to do, we're going to use that little finger thumb movement again, and we're going to go with the tops of the toes this time. And this is the sinuses. So it's a bit like this little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed at home. This little piggy had COVID. This little piggy had a test. And then, stop it. And then goes again all the way down. And then the rest of the big toe is the head and neck. So you might want to just have your foot on your lap and you'd give it with both thumbs like this, or whichever way is comfortable for you. And then we're going to go with the area which is below the toes there, and that's the eyes and the ears. So we're going to give that some love. And then come down a bit further and we're at the thyroid and the lungs. Then we're going to give the ball of the foot some love, and that's the heart and the spine there, just there, all around that bit there. Just give that some love. And then when you come to the arch of the foot, that's the stomach. That's where, when I was having reflexology the first time, I thought she'd stuck a knife in my foot, and she went, "Do you have stomach problems?" And I said, "Yes, I do." It was in the days before you had to fill a form in before you started. And then the adrenal glands are in this middle bit here, so let's definitely give some love to the adrenal glands. And then coming further towards the back of the foot, the kidneys, the colon, the small intestine, the bladder, the genitals, and then right on the heel is sciatic nerve just there. So giving the whole foot some love. Right, then use the whole of the hand to just give the whole thing a bit of a squeeze around. And then we're going to thank our feet for being amazing. We're going to give them a clap. Yay! Now, our feet do need thanking, but actually what we're doing, as you may have guessed, is we are impacting the nerve endings in the foot to just get everything going. Okay, so that's that left foot done. And you can get these gloves, you can get them as gloves or socks, so you can do the same thing for the hands, and the areas are very similar. So if you're doing your hands, just follow the same process. Okay, right, now we're going to take the right foot out. Just notice the difference between the two. Ooh. And again, dry your foot as if you really, really adore that person. You want them to feel utterly looked after, treated with kindness. Give a little love to the bottom of the foot that carries our weight and does all the work. And when you're sure that it's all properly dry, you might want to put some moisturizer on, some foot cream, whatever you've got going on there. And you could get some of these socks and gloves if you want. Just find them on the internet. Look at reflexology socks, reflexology gloves. But actually, you know, if all you do is wash your feet, put some cream on and give them a bit of a rub, it's always going to be good. You know, we weren't born with this knowledge of reflexology. It was just over time people worked it out. But actually you'll get a feeling for which part of the foot does it feel needs some extra attention. And when that reflexologist found that painful bit with my stomach, she said, you're going to need to do this more often, because you need to very gently move a big build up and just kind of little and often. So think about that. If you feel you've found an area that really needs it, don't kind of go in all guns blazing. The stress built up bit by bit needs to be taken back bit by bit. So let's do the same again. This movement, tops of the toes, this is the sinuses. This little piggy back up again. And then the head and the neck, eyes and the ears, some love around here. Oh, it's good exercise holding my leg up like that. And then we're coming to the thyroid and the lungs around the ball of the foot, the heart where the actual ball of the foot is, and the spine. And then we're coming down into the middle where the stomach, the gallbladder, the liver, the kidneys. And we're kind of working our way down towards the heel, small intestine, bladder. And if you feel like I'm moving too quickly, then you might want to watch the recording, do it again and pause and take as long as you like. Or you could join the Feel Good Club and we'll do this on a regular basis. We don't do spas every week, but we do them, we will be doing them regularly. And then give your feet a good old squeeze and a clap. Yay, well done foot, thanks for everything. I think my feet are quite glad that I'm not regularly stuffing them into tight shoes and high heels and stuff. This working from home has been good for my feet. Right, I'm just going to move my bucket out of the way. My foot spa is actually a plastic drawer from a storage unit that we bought from the range. So there you go. You don't even need posh equipment to do this. You just need the intention to find a way. So you could easily say, oh, I can't have a party because of the pandemic. I've had parties online. Oh, can't go camping. I've been camping online. Who knew? So me and a bunch of friends, we put up tents in our own gardens, lit bonfires, and Julie's feet feel wonderful, and he's just sent me a note. Fantastic. That's great news, Julie. I'm really pleased about that. Yeah, let's just take a moment to enjoy the loveliness of our feet. This is not the first time nor the last time of me doing a spa this week, so I'm going to have the softest feet in the universe, and they do feel nice. They're certainly clean, very clean. Okay, right, that's the feet. Oh, right, so now, I know this is terribly hard on you, but now we're going to have a little lie down on a beach in the Maldives, if that's all right for you. If you don't mind having a little relax in the Maldives, then that's fabulous. Okay, so let me just share my screen, and can't find the button. Oh, there we go. Right, I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully you can see that now. And this is a beautiful beach in the Maldives, and as you're watching that, I'd like you to just get as comfortable as you can and breathe out. Now, if you want to, you can watch the video the whole time, or you can get as comfortable as you possibly can. Maybe even switch off the lights, lie down, put your feet up, do whatever you need to do to get comfortable and enjoy the next few minutes on a Maldives beach. So breathing in and breathing out and noticing how you feel. I'd like you to notice which parts of your body seem more relaxed than the others. Breathing in, feeling the rise of your chest. Breathing out and seeing if you can breathe out a little further than you were. It's the out breath that really relaxes us. As if you're lying down on a beautiful beach, just you, warm, safe, and you may wish to be lying on a towel or a beautiful sun lounger or a 4-poster bed. You're as comfortable as you could possibly be on this beach. The warm sun It's as if it's glowing all the way through to your bones, warming your very soul. There are trees blowing in a slight breeze, a cool breeze around your head so you don't get too hot. And there are some tropical flowers along the way, and you can smell the scent in the air. You can maybe sense the saltiness on your lips from the sea. And then we're going to take a little walk along the beach, and you can feel the difference between the soft, dry sand and the harder sand where the water's coming in, the waves rolling in and rolling out, almost as if it's in time with your breath. Maybe even thinking that your breath is controlling the waves. You walk towards the water and there's a little coolness around your toes as the sea rolls in. And in that huge blue sky, you can see a bird, the most beautiful bird. And it's wheeling in the warm air thermals with no effort. It seems to be playing, and for a moment, you imagine what it would be like to be that bird. Feeling the warm sun on the back of your wings. Feeling how you can wheel and soar and dip and curl just with the tip of your wings. You can look down towards the sea and see the tips of the sea, the little wave tips seem to be like diamonds sparkling with the sunshine. And as you curl the tips of your wings, you can circle left and right and glide with no effort at all. The power in your wings is immense. And eventually you circle round once more towards the beach and come to rest yourself again, lying in that beautiful place, feeling the sun on your skin, how it seems to slightly tighten the skin in a pleasing way, and a cool breeze around your head. Breathing in, breathing out with the rhythm of the waves. You're in tune with the waves that are in tune with the moon in tune with our bodies. So beautiful. The sky is so blue. The sea is made up of a whole myriad types of blue. The deep, deep green of the tropical trees blowing gently in the breeze. This is a place where you are safe and can become whole again, realizing how much you've achieved, how amazing you are, and how looking after yourself is an important part of life. As that warm sun reaches all the way into your bones, you notice a golden glow inside. And you're reminded that there's a golden flame right at the core of who you are. It's the essence of you. It's always been there and always will be there. A golden glow. Sometimes we lose sight of when everything is busy on the outside. And now you're realizing that it's always there. I know it's always there, and I can see it even when you're frazzled, tired, cross, sad, that flame is bright. So as you now breathe a lightness, a brightness into that flame, you too are reminded that it's always there. And bringing a hand to your heart space, place your hands on your chest and breathe into that flame, knowing that you're incredible just as you are. And knowing that although you've seen the beautiful beach and you've heard me describe it, you took yourself there and you can take yourself back anytime. All of the feelings, the sights, the sounds, the flavours, it's all inside of you whenever you need a little respite. And I'd like you to tilt your chin downwards. So it's as if you're looking down towards yourself. And very slowly allowing your eyes to open. So you are indeed looking down towards yourself. And I want you to smile, a big smile into yourself. To thank yourself for having spent this time replenishing, recharging. Even a fake smile sets off feel-good chemicals in the body. Treat yourself to a big wide grin. And then stretch the arms up as if you've just woken up in the morning. Take a big deep breath in and make a big noise as you breathe out. Ah! Make the neighbours wonder what's happening. And then bring yourself back to the moment. If you feel you want to move your head, neck, shoulders, maybe even have a little shake, just do whatever you want to do to bring yourself back for the final part. And remember, in a few moments, we're going to talk about what you can do to win a session for your team. Ooh, lovely. Feel free to pop in the comments there how you feel after you've been to the Maldives. You could even put it on social media. I've been to the Maldives today. People will be like, oh, how did you do that? And what's that?
In a bucket.
In a bucket, yeah. I went to the Maldives in a bucket. Yeah, maybe not. Okay, right. Let me just check. I've done everything that I wanted to do for that part. Yes. Who feels lovely? Kerry. Oh, thanks for being here, Kerry. That's so gorgeous to know that you're there. So yeah, let me know how you are. Let me know what your stress levels are now. So you started out with a number, and let me know if that's gone down a little bit or a lot. And pop me a word that describes how you feel right now. And the great thing about this, and this is, I'm really thankful that I have this with you, because whilst it feels like I'm offering you something and hopefully you benefit from it, I benefit from it too. I so enjoy doing this. I've also done all of the exercises and had my feet in a bucket and all of that, and it's it just feels great. So I just love that I'm sharing it with you. It's like we're generating this great energy, and then we go back out into the world, and it's like a ripple effect, because you've got a bit of an easier smile than you perhaps would, perhaps got lower shoulders than you had. You maybe have moments in the day where you return to this and do a bit of letting go, and yeah, the world's a better place for it. So Annie's just passed me a post-it that you're saying things like fantastic, re-energized, fabulous. Yay, this is what we want. This is marvelous. I'm so glad, because you so deserve it. You've worked so hard, you know, no matter what. Don't look at the things you didn't do. Don't look at the things that didn't go quite the way you wanted them to. Please, please, please look at what energy and intention you've put out there, because even just an ordinary day just isn't at the moment, and you're doing the very best that you can with what you've got, which is all we can ever do. So, let's have a look. What we're going to do now then is we're going to run a little competition, and then I'm going to finish off. So the competition is quite simple. I would like you to give me one reason. No, I tell you what, give me two reasons why your particular team that you work in should have a whole spa session for themselves, and we would do it on Zoom, so it's interactive and we can chat. The ones that I do for organisations are ones where we chat and we share, and they last a bit longer, and we have all kinds of other things that go on extra. So you would get that, and we book the date. So I want to know 2 good reasons why your team should be the one who wins a free spa retreat session for the team. It'll be in January now, but what a great way to start the year. So pop it in the comments. If you're watching on catch up, sorry, you missed the boat. Maldives. Anyway, I really shouldn't try and make jokes. They're not very funny. So hopefully you will write something in there. Actually, if there isn't anybody who wants to compete live, then maybe we will check on the follow-up ones, but we'll see. I'll just wait for Annie to give me a shout in a moment or two. There's a slight lag in me speaking and YouTube catching up, so I will just carry on and wait for those reasons to come in for you to have a spa. Okay, so if we were in a room together right now, if we were actually allowed to meet up, then what I would be offering you right now is one of these. I would be offering you, they are stickers, and I would be offering you a gold one or a silver one. You could choose. Hey, they're virtual. You can have both. And the idea is that you can stick it where you like, really, but the idea is you stick it somewhere you see it on a regular basis, and it's to remind you to look after your very precious self. And STAR stands for someone truly amazing. And when you get all shy and you say, really, Pam? That's what the R is for. Yes, really. Someone truly amazing. Yes, really. Because you carry on being a star, being amazing, being a superhero, being a fixer, being somebody who pushes on even when their reserve tank is empty. And you think that self-care is selfish. It's not. It's survival. And what I want you to do is realize that you can't keep your promises to everybody else if you don't keep the promises you make to yourself. Speaking from experience. So look after your very precious selves. I hope that we get to work together again. I hope that maybe if you want a session like this for your team, we can make it a little bit more cerebral. If that's how the budget holders would look at it, we can make it much more of a training workshop. But yeah, getting your feet in a bucket, honestly, it's priceless. So that's that. I've done that bit. So we are cruising towards the end of our session together, and I'm realizing it goes a bit more quickly because we're on YouTube and I'm not getting to chat with you, which I do miss. So hopefully have we got some entrants so far, Annie? We do. Drum roll. Oh, sorry, I woke the cat up. Okay, Kerry, because Andrea and 2 others got COVID and we are fabulous. I'm glad I said 2 reasons because they're great. AM Connolly, a lovely start to the new year. Oh, bless you.
Team building exercise, new staff.
Team building exercise, new staff. Oh, yes, getting new staff before they go crazy. Wonderful, caring team. Head never stops. Oh my goodness, yes. Amazing team, working from home since March. I realised I've given myself an impossible task here.
There's 3 more come in as well.
And 3 more. Oh my goodness. I tell you what I'm going to do. Right. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give 1 winner, and everybody else, I'm going to give you a half price. I hadn't planned to do this. Annie's looking at me with raised eyebrows. I'm going to give you a half price team session if you want it. If you haven't got any budget at all, then but I'm gonna choose one, and I'm gonna go for Kerry. She was first in, and yeah. Three people with COVID and just working on through. But for everybody else, for everybody who's put something in the comments there, and you would like something for your team, then I'd like you to email me pam@pamburrows.com and let me know that you would like something for your team. So Kerry gets the free one. Everybody else can have half price. In fact, we can just do a deal. We'll see what you can afford. Because I realise I've set myself up there. I'm like, I can't say no. Everybody's got a very good reason. Oh, yeah. So we'll work something out. And at the very least, I'll send you a book, my Burnout Buster book, which I just need to lean over for. So here's a copy of my Burnout Buster book, 33 red flags that suggest you're heading for burnout, 33 things to do about them. So those of you who have entered the competition but didn't win, I'll send you a book. So email me pam@pamburrows.com so that I can get your postal address and we'll make some magic happen. So thank you for that, and thank you, Annie, for taking the notes. That's brilliant. Right, we're going to finish off with a different feel-good chemical now. And what I'd like you to do, it's a little bit like the adrenal twist. We're going to put one hand on one shoulder, one hand on the other shoulder, and we're going to do the adrenal twist, but just gently this time. You don't have to twist all the way around. And gently close your eyes. And I want you to imagine that you're having a hug with somebody gorgeous, somebody that you would really love to hug right now. It could be somebody off the telly that you fancy. Could be, I don't know, somebody else's partner that you just have fantasies about. I didn't mean to say that. Rewind, edit that. Oh dear, we're live. So you're just enjoying that squeeze. Now, as you're doing that, I just want to explain the science of it, because yes, there is some science. And the science is that when you have that kind of encounter, a lovely hug, a lovely interaction, a connection with somebody, you get a burst of a chemical called oxytocin, and it's sometimes known as the love drug. And it's something which helps us to have a healthy heart. Literally, it releases nitric oxide, not nitrous oxide. That's a whole different thing. That's a whole different high. Nitric oxide, which opens the blood vessels. So when we have that little moment there, we are improving our heart health. It's no wonder that we talk about love and hearts in the same breath, because it really does affect us. But we're only pretending. How does that work, Pam? Well, let me ask you, have you ever scared yourself with something that doesn't exist? Something that hasn't happened yet, or that is just a worry that you have? It's possible to really scare ourselves just by thinking something. You can start that stress response with your heart racing and all of that happening, even though it's not real. That's the bad news. The good news is you can do the same thing with the good feelings. So give yourself a hug. Imagine that you're squeezing somebody that you really love, or you really fancy, or would just be lovely to squeeze, and you will set off that oxytocin. You will get that burst of feel good, even though you're pretending. So we really do scare ourselves a lot of the time. You're making stuff up in your head. So please, please, please make up good stuff, and then you will feel better. Now, I don't know exactly what you've been experiencing through the pandemic, because of the pandemic, or in your life in general, and the challenges that life has brought you. But whatever it is, one thing I do know for sure is that the only reason you have watched this is because you needed something for you. And what I know, that means that you've been doing so much for everybody else. So I want to thank you. Start myself off. I want to thank you for everything that you've done, for those days when you were really up for it, and for those days where you thought, I can't carry on anymore, but you did, and for those days where you thought, I have to take a break today. Thank you for that too, because remember, you can't carry on unless you refuel. So thank you for everything that you've been doing. Thank you for being here on this live, or for watching the replay. I hope that you'll stay in touch with me. If you would like to join the Feel Good Club, then find me on www.patreon.com. And then /Pam Burrows. You'll see that come up on the end slides that I'll put up in a little while. And you can be with me every Wednesday. And now and again, it's a recording. Mostly it's live. And you can join the lovely group of feel-gooders that we have, where we just keep topped up every Wednesday evening to to make sure that the level of what you're putting into life is balanced up with what you're getting out of it. If you want something for free, then have a look around the rest of my YouTube channel and take advantage of all the different videos I've got. And you might particularly find I've got a playlist called Switch Off Techniques. That's a really good one for unwinding before bed and making sure that you get a good night's sleep. So that might be a particularly good one. And then if you go to my website, pamburrows.com, at the bottom of every page is a sign up to my Monday motivation message. So it's completely for free. Every Monday at 6 a.m. I will come to you and say, hey, are you looking after your very precious self, you complete star? But I'll do it by email, because otherwise I'll get done for stalking and not being COVID safe. So I'm just making little jokes to myself here. It's weird not being in a room with you. So so do sign up for that Monday message if you don't already get it. I send it out every week with a little bit of a blurb and chat to remind you of some of this stuff, and then a video to help you at the end there. So if you've got any questions before we finish, then pop them in the comments. If you'd like to just say what's the main thing that you liked best about this, because it's great for me, because I am going to continue to do, I wasn't going to do any more, but I am going to do some more. I am going to carry on with the free spas. I'm probably going to do them monthly on YouTube like this. So if I know what it is that you particularly liked, then I can do more of that. So that would be great to know. And I think that's everything I was going to cover, except to say that you need to look after yourself in the way that you're looking after everybody else, because if you don't fill up your tank, you're not going to be able to serve anyone else. So look after your very precious self, and I hope we meet again. Take very good care. Mwah! Cheerio. Anything to respond to, Annie, on the oofa doofa?
Yeah, Julie says she loved all of it.
Oh, that's
Lots of
lovely.
people saying thank you for a fabulous session.
Oh, thank you for your thank yous.
Lisa said she started at 10 and is down to about 3 now.
10 down to 3, Lisa. Oh my goodness, that is such good news. I'm so glad. And you know what? Hopefully this will continue to feel good. You might need top-ups, but even if it doesn't continue, just this time that you've had, this hour and a half, you will have boosted your immune system. You will have helped your body to get into alpha brain waves, which are very creative, and let the body rest so it can do some maintenance. So even just this, you have extended your health by loads. So well done for taking the time. Okay, I'm going to reluctantly switch off because I have promised to finish at 3:30. And I'm just going to put the slides on that you may have seen at the beginning. I'm going to put those on. So if there are links that you'd like to see again, those are going to come up. If you want to ask me any questions, then email me pam@pamburrows.com, and let's stay in touch. Let me help you to help yourself, because we all need a little reminder that self-care is really important. It's not selfish, it's survival. So take care and lots of love. Mwah.